What is design knowledge and software knowledge? It's really important to understand the difference between these two. Otherwise, you will always focus on something which is least important for your career growth. If you are a person who is concerned about your career, if you are concerned about your growth, then you must understand the difference between design knowledge and software knowledge. That is what we are going to discuss in this particular video. So without wasting your time, let's get started. Essentially, both design knowledge and software knowledge are important. But you must have to understand what is primary and what is secondary so that you can focus more onto the primary and less onto the secondary. But both are primarily required for execution of the piping design engineering. But in order to grow faster, in order to lead a bigger project, in order to take more responsibilities, you need to know the difference between these two so that you need to understand what is primary and what is secondary. So let's get started from the first one. What is design knowledge and what is software knowledge? Let me start with the first point. Design knowledge is something to do with rules, guidelines and conditions without which you cannot plan your design or make your design. You have to stick to the rules, you have to stick to the conditions, and you have to strictly follow the guidelines. This is based on certain factors, but software knowledge is nothing to do with it. Software is a platform where you can do anything that you wanted to do. For example, if you want to build some 3D model, you can build. If you want to draw some drawing, you can draw. There are 2D and there are 3D. Both softwares are a platform. We can call it as a tools like a pencil and a scale which will help you to produce your ideas. But design is an idea where you follow a strict rules and conditions and guidelines based on which you design your system. So this is the first point you have to understand very clearly between these two. Number two, design is about taking a series of decisions in terms of verifying, analyzing and evaluating different parameters which needs to be considered for a design to ensure your design is safe and efficient and economical. These three factors are primarily important to finalize any design. So you will have to do as many work and as many studies, as many involvement in order to produce your design, in order to ensure that it is safe, it is efficient and at the same time it is economical. So this is about a design. And in comes to software, it is a process of converting and implementing the design ideas into 3D model and drawings. So basically, softwares are used to develop a 3D model or a drawing so that you will be able to convert the ideas, design ideas into a visualized 3D model or a 2D model. I mean the 2D drawings. So this is the purpose of the software. So basically, we can call it as a tool that will help you to reflect your ideas on the screen. So this is about the software. Number three, design is about developing your system from scratch. You will have to do an enormous amount of work in order to produce all the inputs right from scratch, right from materials, right from equipment specifications, plot plan, piping GA, pipe supports. You will have to choose the right type of support based on certain factors. What type of support needs to be chosen for a particular line, how this line needs to be routed, on what condition, what is the elevation of the line, what is the expansion loop location actually. All these things you will be studying, you will be analyzing, evaluating what is right and what is wrong. But when it comes to software, a software will be able to help you to visualize better. For example, you have made a big plot plan and you have installed a lot of equipments and a lot of pipings over here. So you want to visualize your design. So for that, software will help you. So software will help you to produce this design either in terms of drawings or in terms of a 3D model, so that you will be able to exactly see the visualization. What is the space utilization, whether you have enough accessibility as you planned in your previous design. So 3D and 2D will help you to enhance your design. It will help you to give you a better visualization so that you can make some changes in your design in order to ensure it is more safe, more efficient and more accurate. So that is the purpose of the software. Point number 4. Design is about verifying the international standards, local regulations and client specifications in order to see what is the minimum design requirements, what is the safety requirements, what is the essential operability and accessibility requirements demanded. Because if you look at the local regulations or international standards, there are classical guidelines which will help you to enhance the safety of the personals and as well as the infrastructure and as well as equipments, and many other things has been identified. So these are a key information that you need to have a track of it actually. You need to aware about it so that you will be able to produce a better design. So design engineer role is to go through all these areas in order to understand the requirements. For that you have to do a lot of study, a lot of involvement, a lot of rationale needs to be produced in your factual reasons for preparing some design conditions actually, so that you will ensure that your entire design is actually within the safety margin that has been produced given in the international standards or not actually. But when it comes to software, as I said, it is a platform. You will have to aware about all the options which are available in the software in order to produce any design requirement that has come from the design team. So basically, if you are unaware about certain areas, and so that you will not be able to produce, you will not be able to give the 3D model, you will not be able to meet the design requirements that has been instructed in this particular project in your 3D model. So tool awareness is as much as necessary, because if you have a good skill of a tool actually, you will be able to produce the output very easily. So if you are relying on the manual output making actually, so the time consumption for the automated version will be very high. So that is why a person who is good at software should know about all the options in the software, so that he will be versatile enough in order to produce whatever output that has been requested from the design. So software knowledge is about awareness about the entire utilities, tabs and options and the dynamics of the commands which are used in the softwares in order to produce whatever requirements that comes from the design. Point number 5. Design is not only about the verification of the international standards or local regulation. It is also about analyzing and verifying the factors which is pertaining to the engineering, cost, materials, procurement, construction and safety. So you will have an extended role in order to ensure that your design meets all the requirements. For that you have to do enough study, you have to do enough preparations, you have to show your involvement as much as possible in order to understand and accordingly prepare the design. So design role is a primary role in any piping design engineering. In order to understand the role of this design engineers, you need to aware about this requirements actually. So this comes by an experience. So I am not saying that you will have to learn before being a piping design engineer. You can be confident about your work actually. Once you start working, once you learn monthly, weekly and by year of experiences will give you a lot of knowledge about this insight. But you have to understand that design is primary. That is where you produce your design, and based on your design the outputs are made in the softwares. But when it comes to software is purely a conversion of your design ideas to 3D model or either a 2D drawings basically. But the one advantage in software is that it will help you to minimize your time consumed for preparing the deliverables such as 3D models or any kind of an output in a very short time. So that is one of the greatest advantage and greatest use of this particular industry from software actually. Imagine that if you are preparing an MTO and by manually, it will take at least 4 to 8 hours, depends upon the different magnitude of MTO. But when it comes to software, you will be able to generate the MTO within a matter of a minute. So that is a huge difference when it comes to the manpower consumptions. So if you are working in a project where you have nearly around 200-300 lines actually, so you will be able to do this in a very fraction of minute actually. That is really a greater advantage. So that is the use of a software. So I would say software knowledge and as well as design knowledge both are required for any piping design engineering role. But at the same time, design knowledge is a primary knowledge that is required for piping design engineer in order to ensure your design is right. If you cannot ensure your design is right, you will not be able to produce the design in the 3D or 2D. You will be producing the wrong model which is unsafe, uneconomical and inefficient actually. So It's important to focus on the primary area where you will have a good knowledge in order to produce the right design. Hope you understood the major difference between design knowledge and software knowledge. So I will meet you in another fantastic video. Until then, bye from Subhash Chandra.